Welcome to Entertainment is Dead.
I don't have
It's
the hang
back.
of that. I don't understand how that came back.
It came back because I got my voice back, so I can
Mm,
do it. Entertainment is Dead. Sounds better. Is that better?
I, yeah, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, sure.
I am your host, Chuck Sweat. I'm very sweaty, so I turned off the camera. Now, actually, everyone's going to be really not sad, but kind of shocked when I actually start having a camera again, and then they'll see that I gained like 10 pounds from sitting on my ass and drinking a lot of beer. Like, oh fuck, he got fat fast. Um, so I'm here. I've got my regulars in the house. I got the Jizza, Tom. If you don't know what the Jizza is, don't ask questions
If you don't know what the jizza is, you gotta spend some time on Google to learn yourselves about those Wu Tangs.
about the Wu Tangs. I've got Vance. He's got a job. He's fucking employed now. He's got a smile on his face.
I've been employed.
Sometimes.
Hey, for the record, I've been employed this whole time. I just have a job in the art field now.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm still like, I guess I was still chasing the dream with you. So to me, you were collecting a paycheck, but you didn't have a real job. You were collecting that paycheck, making them monies, but now you
Yeah,
have an art job.
I do. I do have an art job. It's very
All
nice.
right, we're gonna keep where your job is on the DL. Um, just because obviously if you say something wrong, we don't want to announce it to everybody. Plus I'm an asshole, and you don't want to be associated with an asshole. Oh, that brings us to our guest. Hi, Peter. How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
We've got Peter Christiansen on the show tonight. He's here to talk to us about what he does for a living, and then also we're going to get into the fact that he is a Wii U player, which we never really talk about that system. And I like to joke a lot about like the big three and how there's what is the third, because I didn't know what it was. I really did, but I like to be an a-hole about it. I think it's probably a good idea to first talk about what you do for a living, Peter. So let's do that, and then we're gonna get into what everybody's been doing this week. Talk about how I broke Tom's car. So, Peter, tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a PhD student up at the University of Utah. So I mostly write papers, write books about video games. But I'm also a programmer, and that's my day job.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I make educational games for middle school kids to teach them physics.
I think the thing I'm most interested about is tell me about these books that you write and these papers that you write based on video games and where we can find them.
So a lot of my academic work you can just like find by googling my name, like on Google Scholar. So I actually just got back from California presenting a paper on the portrayal of science in video games and tech trees and stuff like that. Uh, I've also written some chapters for books on modding. So actually, let's see if I got. I wrote a chapter in a book on Minecraft.
Nice.
Well,
So, and a couple other books, but mostly about. I mostly write about video game culture, the video game industry, science and technology, that sort of stuff. Modding a lot.
That's interesting. What is your favorite? Like, tell me more about modding. Why you're passionate about it, and yeah.
So, I've been kind of looking at the industry and studying the industry for like quite a few years now, and a lot of people have written a lot of stuff about it, but it's always been kind of hard to get into the video game industry. There wasn't really a clear path. And there was very much this kind of in-crowd sort of atmosphere that you get in by knowing someone and things like that. And there's also this kind of culture of privacy, this culture of like making everyone sign their NDAs the second they walk through the door. And so there's this very kind of disconnect between like the production of video games and like the public at large. And so modding is really interesting in that it's kind of this middle ground where you have these people who are doing really valuable work that, you know, there was a guy that looked into like if you had to put a price tag on like really good mods, how much it would how much it would be, and he estimated that for some games like Battlefield, to create the amount of content that modders create, you'd have to like spend half the game's budget over it again to do that. So it's really kind of an
Wow.
interesting space. Yeah. So and of course it's kind of hard to put a price tag on free labor done by non-professionals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's you could kind of dispute his numbers, but he did a lot of research and he did a lot of like tallying things up, and it's like the amount of value created by mods is like in millions of dollars worth of content for the best sorts of mods. And you see games like Minecraft where modding is just goes nuts. And Minecraft didn't really have like a huge budget to start with anyway, so it's really kind of hard to put a price tag on this sort of thing. But it's this really interesting cultural phenomenon, and it's really changing in a lot of ways. I think the way the video game industry works, the way the video game production works.
How do you feel about
Absolutely.
the paid content stuff on Steam, and what's been going on there?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question because in some of the book chapters I've written, one of my main gripes is that everyone talks about how awesome it is, how much money this generates, how much value it's being created, but that value doesn't go to the people who are actually doing the work. The value goes to the people, who own the property. So it's a very tricky balance because on the one hand, modders don't get paid for their labor as essentially, kind of like second-class developers, but they still have to abide by all the same like IP rules and things like that. And you get all sorts of really big mods that have been shut down for IP issues, even though it's just this kind of like fan work. So you have like GI Joe mods for Battlefield and like Duke Nukem mods for Quake and things like that. They get shut down because of infringing IP, but at the same time, the people who create this content don't own their own IP. They sign away all their rights with the NDA or the end user license agreement. So it's kind of this weird limbo of being sort of producers but having no rights. And so the idea of paying them for what they do is really interesting. But as we saw when there was the huge backlash on Steam, it's a very tricky sort of prospect.
Sure. Well, and I mean, and I could be wrong on this because my OG PC gaming is not as legit as it should be, but I mean, CS:GO was a mod, right?
Counter-Strike mod.
The Counter-Strike was a mod that they're
So is
selling.
Dota. I mean,
Right.
Dota was.
Dota's a mod
yeah,
that's
so
been
there's-
monetized. Like,
there's
Go
all these
ahead.
mods that started off as like Counter-Strike is the big one because it started off as as a Half-Life mod, and then got like the developers got hired by Valve and it turned it into a game. Team Fortress was the same way. It started out as a Quake mod, and so there's
Defeat.
so there's all these sorts of things that these guys are creating this content which is clearly valuable because people are like scooping it up and selling it, and so there's this kind of this dream that like if I make a good enough mod, Valve's going to hire me or whoever's going to hire me. But so it's basically, if that's kind of your mindset, there's this the modding turns into this kind of unpaid internship with no promises of future employment and no set date. So it's really kind of a murky territory as far as like who's doing the work and who's getting the benefits. Because there is the argument that maybe you'll get hired, but it's if you're putting in like some of these modders put in like days, weeks, months working on these mods, and they make some really high quality stuff, and then they don't get anything for it except for of course the enjoyment of being able to make these things and have people play them. But that's not exactly equitable.
right? I mean, that's like, I don't know. I feel like that's like 10% of it, right? I mean, you make them, and having somebody play your game is really really cool, but it doesn't put food on the table. If
Right, exactly.
you're
And
mod, so
Yeah.
fair
I feel
enough.
like we just touched on something very deep.
Well, I mean, without mods, man, the MOBA scene wouldn't be around, and the MOBA scene is
Yeah.
huge.
Right.
And I played a shit ton of Red Orchestra, and that was the Unreal Tournament mod. I loved it. I thought it was a great game, and then it eventually became its own game. So I mean, and that's the thing I was going to ask you, Peter. Is how do you feel about Epic Studios saying, okay, the new Unreal tournament is pretty much Mod City, go to town. You guys are making the game essentially, and they gave away the engine for free, and they gave away everything. In fact, a lot of assets for free. I was really surprised at what's in the package. Like, how do you feel about companies doing that? And do you see it being successful for them?
Yeah. So again, it's really hard to kind of like determine the success of modding as far as from this corporate standpoint. So I really like the companies that really encourage modding. I mean, when modding started out, it was this like subversive kind of underground thing where people were like hacking apart games, and it was
frowned upon by the industry, like
right,
by the people making money.
I mean, these were like people who were like they were practically like vandals, or who were like taken apart. So you have these really old like mods for games like on the Apple II, like Castle Smurfenstein, which was basically just like taking all the Nazis out of the original Castle Wolfenstein and putting in Smurfs, so you can kill Smurfs.
And I think
you could do Barney.
When we bought
it, there's a Barney
Doom
mod.
So let me cut this off and ask a question real quick to you guys. So King Cloud in the chat is saying that mods are never going to be for console because it would ruin gameplay for console players. In his opinion, what do you guys think about that?
They've already announced
gonna have
Bethesda.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where even like he said, Snap Map is included in the package. The developers want you to take their product a little bit further. The developers want to give you essentially a Lego set and say, go to town, have a lot of fun with it, because there is a lot of fun in just creation.
Right.
I mean, Minecraft is already on the Xbox One, so that's already over with. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen more.
I think it'll be a slower take rate, though. I think the point I see is modding does feel more naturally suited to the PC community.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I think every game, every game wants to build a community, because if you can get a long-lasting community, you can extend the life of your game sales, right? I mean, that's the only reason Capcom is still partially viable at this point, is that they've turned Street Fighter into this massive. I mean, they've taken the tournament scene and just blown it up. That's the only way they're still doing a lot of their stuff, and I think that's something that Bethesda's trying to lock into and say, okay, if we can get modding going, because then what'll happen is you may not see the same volume of day one sales, but you're going to give your game third and fourth chances to sell as people see this really awesome mod content, and it's going to reach out to other people.
Right.
So.
Well, there's also a lot of different degrees of how much access they have, how much control is given in the SDK, because I mean you have games already that have like map builders on consoles and things like that that you can share, like Smash Brothers stages and stuff like that. So it's really a question of
Disney Infinity is the same way.
Right. So
all the toy box. So
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not really like when modding will reach the console. It's how deep will it go, and how will that process go, I think.
Sure. What else did you want to ask him, Vance?
Oh, I think that certain and this is more of a statement than anything, but I think certain companies are going to latch onto it more than others. I think that Microsoft will probably lead the charge, just because there's going to be so much modding done on the PC side that's going to be easily replicated on their console side. I really don't see a huge mishmash of problems. But then again, I mean, Peter would know better than I would. He's a programmer. But I think the real question is, do you think Nintendo will jump on that bandwagon as well? Do you think they'll give you access to Mario Kart and access to?
Well, I think I think you see them sort of going in that direction a little bit. So like I mentioned, there's like they already have like the map editors for like making levels in Smash, the Mario Maker is coming out for Wii U. So I think they're sticking their foot in a little bit, testing it out. So yeah, when they announce their next console and start announcing games for that, it's going to be interesting to see if they really focus on the modding, focus on the user-generated content, or whether they keep their development very much in-house, which is kind of what they've done.
Keep everything to do in-house and not even let people like put it on the internet.
Right, which they've already done a couple interesting things, like they're pairing with Skylanders, which is kind of a big shock, I thought.
Yeah, I
Activision. Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that Nintendo was gonna like do any kind of outside of the zone. I mean,
Right.
their IP is not only going across, but that little. I still think that little switch across the bottom of the toy is fucking genius. Genius.
Yeah. So they're looking into the mobile space, looking at like partnering with mobile studios. They're partnering with companies or like games like Skylanders. So I think Nintendo is starting to like release their grip on their IP and starting to like test the waters of what they can do and what is going to work for them. But I think they're also very much doing it on their own terms rather than trying to follow existing models.
I think that's a good segue into the fact that you are a Wii U owner. And I mean, so Steve has a Wii U, but he never really talks about it. To be honest, Steve, it's true. You don't have to protect yourself. So we never really talk about the Wii U. And I mean, I think Tom and I have both at different times, thought about buying one, and just kind of like not really found the basis, found enough interest in buying one to do it. So so why don't you tell me, when you purchased one, what was your draw? I also want to hear about Splatoon at some point. So
All right. Yeah. So we got our Wii U not probably about a year after it was released or so. Because there wasn't really especially when it first came out, there wasn't a lot of really exciting content. There was like some Mario stuff, which was a lot like the Mario stuff on the Wii. There's like the pad, which was felt kind of gimmicky and it was just kind of like meh. So and as time went on, like Mario Kart 8 was kind of like that was when I started telling my friends, okay, you should go get a Wii U. It's worth it now. But that didn't come out until like last year.
So did you purchase it because you didn't agree with the other systems that were out, or that no, they weren't out yet? Like Xbox One and PS4 is what you're saying wasn't out yet.
I think when we got it, they were all coming out. They were like brand new, and so
Okay.
but yeah, and honestly, like we have an Xbox 360, but we ended up. I used to play it a lot, and I played a lot less just because I have a lot less time these days. And like Nintendo consoles, I have like every Nintendo console just about just because there's always going to be a Zelda game. There's always going to be something that you're going to be like So
So was it the IP that really drew you to it, or was it the price point?
yeah, so I think that both of those had their attraction. That you knew there was going to be a Mario Kart, you knew there was going to be a Mario game, you knew there was going to be all sorts of stuff that was pretty safe. And with the low price point, it's if that's all there is, it's like all right, that's not bad for like a couple of Mario games and Mario Kart. But yeah.
So I want to tap into something on your Wii U, and I don't know. I'm not sure, Steve. I'm not sure if you bought this or not, but I want to talk about Splatoon. The hype on Splatoon is real. Like I have not seen my Twitter feed explode for a game in a while, and it's pretty intense right now. So what is it about Splatoon? Steve, you're welcome to sound off if you've played it. I don't know if you picked that up or not. I can't remember. But yeah, like what brings that?
It's like Nintendo's first ultra competitive game.
Okay.
This is like the first time you can queue up against strangers and play a game versus other people. In Smash Brothers, they've kind of introduced the one-on-one battle, but there's no sorts of team battle or anything like that. And you just run around painting people, and the roller is terrible, and I was not good with it. And it was, I think I got the roller from a amiibo. I'm not sure if that's how I unlocked it, but anyway, I unlocked a roller. So instead of running around with a little gun, you roll around with a big, rolling brush and paint the ground and the walls and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And it was terrible. I kept on getting sniped from across the map. So
Sniper.
You get the sniper uppercut.
Hey, man.
Those are the worst.
Yeah.
Sniper uppercut.
Yeah, the crazy thing is when you actually find someone who's like really awesome with the roller and just completely kicks your ass with it. Because
so does everyone here understand the concept of Splatoon?
No,
What?
explain it to me. I'm dumb.
So it's team-based matchmaking. So you have a team and your goal is to cover as much as the area with paint as possible. So you do that by shooting the walls or rolling the walls and whatever. And then you have like your when you kill someone, they explode in your color of paint, and the other team is trying to cover it. I think it's like blue, green, and purple and orange. Right, those are the two opposing colors. So if you run around, if you kill someone, they're spreading their green paint, and so at the end of the time, the person who has the most coverage wins. So it'll say 60 to 40% or whatever.
So let me just get this straight. So you're painting the walls, and at the same time you're trying to kill the other players.
Yep.
Or did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's kind of interesting. So it adds a dynamic of strategy along with me killing people.
Well, that's the basic competitive mode. And there's also like a King of the Hill sort of thing where you just have like a small area that you have to paint, and you have to control it for a certain amount of time. And they actually just added a new mode where you just have like this one little tower that you have to paint, which just like goes back and forth, and you have to like force it to the other person's side. So they've been slowly adding like new weapons, new game modes, new content, pretty consistently, pretty much every week or so.
Yeah, and what's weird is you don't really download the new content. You download a small little patch, which then basically unlocks it. So it kind of gets to that all the DLC is included on the disc kind of thing.
Right.
And I think Nintendo just does it just intentionally to prolong the life of their product. Right? They want to make sure you're continuing to play it well after the first week of release.
But at the same time, I think that it's worked well, especially for the fact that it's a game that's targeted at like very competitive players, but also at the traditional kind of Nintendo family market. So it works really well to kind of ease players in. That it's not just like giving you this huge game with like dozens of maps and dozens of game modes. That they've just kind of like slowly eased players in, and it's I think it's actually worked rather well for them.
That's good. I like to. I mean, there's more. It's good to have games like that where sometimes you get into stuff like, I don't know, Destiny or whatever shooter is big that month. So something comes out. So like a new Call of Duty comes out or whatever, and you go pick it up, and you got this casual community, but that seems to die pretty. Oh, it's thundering out here, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, just that, there's not enough games that keep that casual thing. That's really cool.
Right.
For
how
free.
many hours have you guys sunk into it so far?
Oh man, I don't know. I've probably sunk at least like, I don't know, 50, 60 hours, maybe more.
Really?
Yeah, almost nothing. For me.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing. It was
He's
fun,
been
but
busy.
I much prefer Mario Party and Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Because I mean,
it's
back
not-
to the question
so
you were
Steve
asking
didn't love
earlier.
it.
I
Okay.
have a Wii U for the IPs.
Okay.
I literally have a Link tattooed on my arm. Right, I'm a huge Zelda fan. The new game's going to come out at some point. I wanted to play Wind Waker HD and stuff like that. So, for the child's sake, right, for my 3-year-old, and for my sake, getting the Wii U was the much better choice. The games are much friendlier for him to play, and I can still be a child at heart and play Smash Brothers, Mario Party, and Mario Kart. But there's nothing
Nice.
about the console itself where I was like, oh, I need to get it because of the dual screen. Or I needed to get it because Nintendo has an HDMI output now. Woohoo! Like, there was no selling point about the console in comparison to the new gen PlayStation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the pad thing I thought was, I mean, Nintendo's known for doing kind of gimmicky things that often end up being a lot cooler than you expect. The pad I wasn't really impressed with most like the Mario games that they like showcased, like the tapping and the making the platforms was not really all that impressive. It felt just like all the older ones on the Wii. A lot of the Netflix app is way worse than the one on the Wii. So a lot of things don't work so well, but it really works well. Like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker works amazingly well. Splatoon actually makes really good use of the motion controls, which I wasn't expecting. So it's slowly grown on me. I'm still not sure if I'm a huge fan of the the pad thing, but it works. It does its job.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it by if you don't look at the screen, you just feel like you're holding a really large controller, right?
Yeah, which is pretty much like I look at the screen when I have to like launch a Ink Strike or something like that, or just jump to another player or something. But I don't look at the screen as much as I probably should because I get killed from behind all the time.
So I want to bridge this Nintendo conversation and see what everyone's thoughts are. And I'm not sure. I know Lance and Vance. I just might exclude you, and I apologize. But those of us with a 3DS and stuff like, I feel like my 3DS last year was running always. It was always on. I was always playing something, and I haven't picked up a game for it this year and really been too stoked. Is that the same for you guys, or are you guys 3DS players? Is that something? Do you feel like their focus has moved more towards the Wii U to pull it up, or is my focus elsewhere?
I think the problem was I didn't get into the what is that project something for the 3DS that was supposed to incorporate the amiibo figures.
You didn't buy the new upgraded 3DS?
No, there's the new game that came out. It's called Project something. It's why they re-released the Marth amiibo. It was supposed to be their big game that incorporated all sorts of different characters and stuff like that. But the only other game I really wanted to play is Monster Hunter, and I don't have the new 3DS, so I can't get the full potential of the game or run it at all. I'm not sure. So I haven't picked up any new games since Majora's Mask or Smash Brothers. Probably Majora's Mask, I think, came out second.
Yeah.
I think that's the latest game I've purchased for the 3DS.
Fair enough.
What about you? What's the last game you bought?
Pokemon Ruby. I think about the Ruby re-release last year. Was the last thing I did. And I only played it for 15, 16 hours, and that was it. It's just kind of like my 3DS has been sitting on the charger for almost a year now, and it's kind of a bummer. But it's.
Do you find yourself playing your PlayStation or your Vita more, Tom?
Oh yeah, I play my Vita every night before I go to bed. So,
do you play your Vita as a Vita, or do you play your PS4 through the Vita?
I play my Vita as a Vita. I don't like remote play, and it's not because it doesn't work well. It's because most of the games incorporate, R2, R1, L3, things like that, and you don't. The touchpad will allow those, but the way I hold the system with my big meat hooks, like I'm always pushing those buttons, and so it's really hard. Or like trying to play Final Fantasy 14 via remote play when you've got all these different like menu items and all this minutia you're flipping through, and you're trying to read like text and chat. I can't handle it on the little screen. I need a bigger screen. So I generally play, PS1 games. I'm playing Sword Art Online right now pretty heavily. Actually, I'm kind of addicted to that really terrible game that I just cannot stop. Like there is really nothing redeeming about the game from a design standpoint, and I cannot stop playing it. So there's that for you.
Is it a game based off the anime?
Yeah. So if you've watched Sword Art Online, after close to end of season 1, they get out of SAO, right? They beat the boss, if you will, and they get out of SAO, and then about 300 to 400 of the people that were stuck in SAO are still stuck, but they've actually been transferred into another game owned by an evil corporation, so there's this whole thing there. But in the video game, it acts as if when they beat the boss, they never get out of SAO, so for some reason they have to keep leveling. And so you're dropped, and basically all you're doing is crawling through dungeons and killing monsters and doing quests. And they're not even like really heavily detailed quests. It's like go pick 5 mushrooms and kill 10 of these, and then you explore the area. When you finish the right number of quests, you get in your raiding party and you go fight the big boss, and you just do this over and over and over again. And I just can't stop.
That sounds boring as shit. I don't know how the hell you're doing that.
I don't know, but every night I log in and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's wander these really bland scenes and kill stuff. Yeah.
I've dumped probably hundreds of hours into XCOM, and it's kind of the same redundant thing over and over again, so I guess I'm in the same boat.
Are any of you guys Diablo 3 players on PC?
Yes, sir.
Used to play a lot of Diablo 3.
You guys read about 2.3 coming out or playing it in the PTR?
Nah.
It's the next patch. You get a Herodic Cube.
Ooh.
New stuff.
So
I'm excited.
With Diablo 3, I played through the expansion. I really liked it. I actually really enjoyed the story. But I couldn't make myself go do the other stuff. Like, what was it? Like, you go into the portals and do those little mini instances or whatever?
The Rifts.
The Rifts? Yeah, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah, I love grindy games. I love repetitive, grindy stuff for better loot to do the grindiness better. It feeds my addictive personality. I need to repeatedly do something so I can repeatedly do it easier next time.
Sword Art Online, man. Do it.
Is it on something other than Vita?
Nope.
I kind of screwed myself on Diablo recently because I restarted on. I got the expansion on Xbox and I plan on playing it, and started rolling through it with a buddy, and he gave me some freaking ridiculous weapon that basically every time I hit something, I was like gaining a Paragon level.
Jesus.
And yeah, there's a video on my Xbox stream of me downing Diablo. Like I hadn't even ran through the game once. I downed Diablo in like 3 hits or something like that. It was stupid.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it broke the game for me basically. It was like God mode for Doom.
And you're like, this is too easy. This game sucks.
Yeah,
Why
it
do
really
they-
did. It
even though
really
you did it
broke
yourself?
for me.
Why did these designers allow this shitty sword in here?
Seriously, that's actually like how I felt. I was like, man, that just I had fun for a little while, but I just realized I was bored out of my mind after
If I
a
could,
couple hours.
if I could go back and teach like young gamer me a life lesson about
To not
gaming.
cheat?
Oh yeah, like I would erase the phrase "it is a good day to die" from my memory, because I'm pretty sure that like ruined Warcraft 2 for me. Like just flat out destroyed that game for me.
Is that a mod or was that a?
It was
code?
a cheat code. It is a good day to die. It made all your units invincible, and so you could just basically just march through and slaughter everybody, and then make it so made all of your buildings build instantly instead of having to wait for the timer.
But there's nothing wrong with cheating against an AI. It's when you cheat against other players.
Well, the codes didn't work in a multiplayer.
If you
No,
did land,
you
if you did a land, they worked.
And,
Did
yeah,
they?
but not over dial-up. When my mom would lift up the phone and make a call and drop my
Yeah, I'm
game
like,
session.
I couldn't play Warcraft 2 online. I had to do local lands.
Yeah, but it announced to everybody that you did it.
Yeah, and then you were labeled. You can't get labeled, son.
Yeah.
My God, my dad's phone bill. My poor dad from fucking playing Diablo.
Racking
We
up
are
those long
way-
distance minutes.
Yeah, we are way off topic.
Yeah, I don't.
So let's bring this back
The
in.
thunderstorm just kind of threw everything off. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
know
sorry,
it was the
Internet.
thunderstorm. Should be in the title tonight. Thunderstorms and we.
Lightning, very, very frightening.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Galileo.
So anyways, back to the Wii U. So basically what I took out of what you guys said is that you bought it for the IPs and a little bit for the price.
It's not
So-
IPs. It's for the IP. Just. I think let's just correct that because IPs are addresses. IP is a general thing. Intellectual property is a mass. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, see, now that's a little
Getting all
iffy, right? Because
technical
now
for me.
Nintendo's sharing it for the mobile market,
Yeah.
right? You can get a Pokemon game on iOS, right? So is it now really just their property?
Well,
They're
it's-
sharing.
they're still the publisher, right?
Yes.
I don't think Nintendo's move to mobile will be as big as everybody thinks.
But it's a step in the right direction.
It is. It absolutely is.
10 years too late.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be as big of a shift. Like,
Sorry.
everyone's hyping
mean.
it up. It's going to be Nintendo bringing us like Pokemon Troze, and that's what we're going to get, or like Troze 2, and it'll have ridiculous paywalls. I don't know. I don't have a like. Every time Nintendo announces some new incredible thing they're going to do that's way outside of Nintendo's scope, I think back to when they announced online multiplayer for the Wii, and then you had to buy that USB adapter to Ethernet, and like 2 games used it. That's like instantly where my brain goes every time I think of that. So I'm struggling. But Mario Kart was pretty fun online, so there's that too. Nah,
And we bring up Nintendo again and then just poo poo all over it.
it's not that. Like they do good stuff, man. They
do.
They've lost their way, and I want them to come
Oh.
back to me. Come back to me.
They haven't
Nintendo.
really released anything that has turned me away from them, right? They release exactly what I expect. Nothing amazing, some good games, and I will continue to buy them. Right?
Oh, so they released Batman Arkham Knight.
I haven't played it.
So, the way I've always looked at it, and the way I think that Lucas looks at it, because we talked about this at Draw Night a while back, and we were talking about like Nintendo, and I've always compared like consoles to different amusement parks. You know, Microsoft and Sony have always been the Six Flags and the and the Busch Gardens with the huge gnarly rides, the AAA titles that take you from loop to loop. And I think I've always kind of coincided Nintendo with Disney. It's a very unique experience.
That's a
Nobody
very
else
good comparison.
yeah, nobody else gives you that experience. And even though Disneyland doesn't have the big gnarly rides that all the big parks do, they still have
They
a
still
very
have
unique,
fun.
very charming experience. And I think
Yeah.
Nintendo, that's where their bread and butter is. Not the wacky hardware configurations they keep coming out with. Not and I hope they never walk away from that. I hope they never give in and say, okay, let's start building these big gnarly rides. Let's give into the console gaming lust where everybody has to have the same controller and everybody has to have the same big AAA titles. It's yeah.
I mean,
I love
now
it.
I just want to.
I think the best
I just wanna
example is
hug Nintendo.
Star Fox, like the upcoming
Yeah.
Star Fox.
It looks great.
It looks exactly what you expect it to be. It's nothing amazing. It looks just like Star Fox with new graphics and one or two new things in the game.
Yep.
I
That
can
is-
tell you right
that
now
is-
that was the main reason I wanted to get a Nintendo Wii U.
I
this
mean,
year.
that game is absolutely Nintendo. We took this one game, we kept it pretty much exactly the same. We added one or two new features and improved the graphics.
So
Like
let
we
me
didn't change jack.
so let me go back to the Disneyland analogy. So if Nintendo is Disneyland / California Adventure, which video game is the Tower of Terror or whatever? The
The
that dro-
Matterhorn.
No,
They don't have
the
a
one
Matterhorn.
the one that drops you in the Twilight Zone is the Tower of Terror.
Tower of
Yeah.
Terror.
Yeah. So which video game in Nintendo World is Tower of Terror?
You mean
Luigi's
30
Mansion.
seconds long or super frightening?
Luigi's Mansion.
Just like that's my favorite ride at Disneyland. Like I will go to California Adventure.
great.
I rode that and the Haunted Mansion 5 times each. Everything
It
else is
was.
like, yeah, I don't really care.
Tom, it was going to be Alien Colonial Marines.
Oh.
Yeah, it was gonna come out and it got canceled.
I don't know, man.
we
I don't
had
know,
to
I don't
talk
know
about it.
how to make an analogy to games to carnival rides or amusement rides.
I don't either. I just wanted to bring up the Tower of Terror and how much I liked it.
And I wanted to make a lasting 30 seconds joke, so internet high five.
Yeah. So, did anybody else notice? So this is something from E3, but they announced a new Fatal Frame for the Wii U at E3, right? And it just
Really?
kind of
Yeah.
like slid under the radar. I don't think it was weird. Like I love Fatal Frame. I just really like the
You
Wii
just
U.
tired of
That's your choice.
yeah.
It's like
But are
Bayonetta.
you gonna? Would you play it if it was on PlayStation?
I'm gonna play it on Wii U.
Because you're gonna buy one.
Yeah.
For Fatal Frame, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if you're. I mean, you're gonna walk around with the Wii U pad right in front of your face because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be the first like real good integration, isn't it? Let us know how it is.
I really want to play Star Fox, so I think that would be if I was to buy one, that would be the reason why. So
Yeah, mine's
that, and
just
I think
the next
sorry.
Zelda game is really the only thing I'm looking forward to.
that's sad. There's like one game that everybody like. I mean, Peter, what are you excited about for this fall for Wii U?
Star Fox is pretty cool. Yeah, as far as like upcoming Wii U stuff, yeah,
There's nothing.
I dragged you to talk about a topic that you have one, but you're just. I like the other stuff. We had a much deeper conversation earlier.
Well, and I feel that could be the problem, right? Like, not the problem. Nintendo is going to be just fine. They're not going
Always.
anywhere. They have enough money off of Pokemon sales alone to keep their doors open for 20 years if they operated at a loss. I'm tired of being like, come on, Nintendo.
I'd be down for
Come
Pokemon
on.
Stadium or a new Pokemon Snap.
Dude, Pokemon Snap was so rad.
I know, but what if the Fatal Frame is just the the baby steps to a new Pokemon Snap, where you're on rails, but you gotta twist and turn in your couch and throw stones at the Mews and the Pidgeys.
I feel like that's different. Like, I feel like Pokemon Snap would be the baby steps to Fatal Frame. Like, what you just said to me is that heroin is the gateway drug to weed, and I feel like that's backwards. Like, it doesn't.
No, I'm putting Pokemon Snap on a pedestal because Pokemon.
Ah,
because Pokemon.
Yeah,
just Pokemon.
just because it's Pokemon.
Sweet. So,
So are you guys gonna watch the Pokemon porn because Pokemon?
Oh, you don't want to do that to yourself.
Tom's already seen it.
You don't want to do that. Just take it from me. Curiosity will get the best of you, and it will not be worth your time.
Got it.
It
Don't
is.
look up Pokemon porn.
Oh, it's the worst.
Roger that.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh God. Any questions from our Twitter that's not related to what we just talked about?
No, but I want to call
Alright.
out. I think Dylan King wins the question. He thinks that Zombie U would be the the Tower of Terror of Wii U, and I'll agree with him because I waited in line a long goddamn time at E3 to play that game. That's the best. Dude, I feel so
that's
off
an-
for them tonight.
Speaking of Dylan, update for where we're at. I think we should start kind of wrapping this up. A couple things I want to talk about really quick. We made some progress on our Lupus Foundation
yeah.
charity event that we're going to be doing. We are in the process of locking down a
Location.
a place to hold the event. Should be really cool if it comes through. It'll be plenty of room for our group, and then we might, depending on how things go and who's contributing, we might invite a couple people to come down and hang out with us. Dylan, you could be one of them, most likely, because you tune in every week. So we like you. So that's one thing. So the venue's really close. We also are really excited about our first sponsor that we've got for it. Salt Lake Comic Con has already signed on to be a sponsor for this. We've been toying around with some different dates, and I know we've been talking about a few things, but never really nailed down a date. And it's looking really promising to be doing the 19th of September.
Yeah,
So
either that Friday, Saturday, or that Saturday, Sunday.
yeah, for that weekend. That is going to be just for everybody who lives in Salt Lake, because obviously this is a Salt Lake event. That is the week before Comic-Con, the weekend before. So it'll give you something to do while you're waiting around for Comic-Con to start, something to watch, something to participate in. We're also looking to get some sponsors. We're also up for suggestions. If you have anything that you'd like to see out of it, any ideas, please feel free to let us know.
And if you want to come and stream with us, let us know. I know Dylan's already going to be jumping in with us. This is not like an us-only event. So if you want to do some streams, raise some money, let us know. Shoot us an email. Is it feedback@entertainmentisdead.com? Or you can email, Thomas or Lance at entertainmentisdead.com, and we'll get back to you about it. But it's going to be good. It's going to be a fun weekend.
We're looking to put together some packages for people to donate. So you're not just, obviously we want you to get that warm fuzzy feeling, but we're also incentivizing you by, we'll be giving away some packages,
Handies.
probably some handies, blowies from Tom, you give the blowies. Anyways, so yeah, look forward to more details on that, and let us know if you have anything you want to see, any games you want to see, any competitions, maybe like Vance playing something on PC, or like me getting my ass kicked in a game that I'll just get mad about. One thing that we're toying around, we probably need to get set precedents about first, is we're gonna probably try to keep swearing to a minimum during the cast. I know that's kind of conforming to a guideline, but at the same time, we're doing it for the sake of charity. So I can give up my swearing for 5 minutes, just because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm rambling here. Tom, you got anything else to add to this?
No, not really. I mean, details are still in the works, but September will probably be the time frame. If you want something to do the weekend of August 28th, I will actually be doing a live show with my other podcast. We're going to be performing live at 50 West Cafe in downtown Salt Lake.
Yeah,
Come down and see him.
Yeah, it's going to be a 21 and older show, but if you are under 21, you can come in as long as you're with somebody who's over 21. So I'm not sure how they're working that out, but pretty sweet venue.
Is that going to be streaming live?
It will not be streaming live this time. We're keeping it pretty straightforward, doing just the show. The place does have the capability. They have full cameras, rigs, a fat internet connection. So we will, if we do future events, I want to work towards getting it streamed, broadcast. But for now, we're just going to try not to lose our stuff on stage in front of people. So we'll start small and grow big. But But yeah, so keep posted. Follow us on Twitter at EID Podcast, or follow me at Thomas Winkley, or at Chuck Sweat, or at Vance Nation, or at Steve Gibbs, or at the Turnip Master, because
so
we'll all tweet stuff.
If you
about things.
want to ask Peter any questions about what he does, how what he does for a living, or his modding, or anything else, is the best way to get a hold of you at the Turnip Master.
Yep, that's probably the best way.
Great.
And I'll tell you right now, like, I sat in on a panel with him. Which panel were we on together? Was it the history? It wasn't the future of gaming, was it? It was the It wasn't Final Fantasy, was it?
No, it was.
I think it's what makes games good, or
What
something.
makes game, which was like the most broad fucking topic I could imagine. And dude dropped some knowledge. So if you want some game knowledge dropped on you via Twitter, it's the way to do it. Because I think I just sat up there and was like, "Is it fun?" Then it's
I don't know.
I don't know. Games
And
are
then
fun.
I rambled for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So
This wasn't with the EA guys, was it?
no. Which, by the way, I feel guilty every time I walk past those guys on the street because we work right by their office. Like today, Lance, we walked by him like 3 times, and I was like, I don't want to make eye contact because what if he watched the show and saw that I said he was rude, and then he'll be weird about it, and then he'll know, and he's bigger than I am. It was just uncomfortable. Anyway,
Just stand behind Lance.
hide behind Lance.
I'm used to it.
Can we go to bed now? I feel really like.
I just want to announce to the internet that I accidentally blew up Tom's car today.
Oh my god.
You want to talk about your kitty cat?
No, he actually blew up my car. Oh yeah, Lance got a cat.
We got a kitty cat. We rescued
Aw.
a kitty on our home. Yeah, I didn't do it alone. My girlfriend.
Not little boy. Not Hank
Oh
Jr.
yeah, he wanted it too, for sure.
Chuck Jr.
I think that's like every kid's dream, like to come home with an animal. Like, can we keep it, Dad? Yes, we can keep it. Like,
Yay!
and he asked me like 5 times too. He's like,
Now-
"Are you sure we can keep it?" So,
Now here's a question: who named him Walter?
well, who do you think?
Did you do it?
No,
No.
Brooke did.
Does Brooke like Breaking Bad?
No, well, I don't know. She's watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it.
All I'm
so.
saying is you have a white cat named Walter. There's got to be a reason.
He's white. He's white and orange. He's
I was hoping that Hanky was like, we're gonna name him Walter, and like the clouds opened, and you knew at that moment that your son was awesome because he got a Breaking Bad reference without even knowing it. That's what I was really hoping for here.
yeah, it's. I have not seen Breaking Bad, and I actually think that I might break down and watch it this time. See what I did there?
Puns.
Everybody breaks bad eventually, Lance.
That's pretty funny.
No,
Bravo.
I for my own personal reasons why I haven't seen that show, but I like good TV. I watch Game of Thrones. So anyways, yeah, that happened. I got a kitty. His name is Walter, and he's adorable, and he's been checked up, so he is good to go. He's not gonna get kitty AIDS or anything like that, so we're happy about that.
Oh, hey, before we go, I want to shout out, say what up to Starbarf, tuning in after last week, and just share his point. The only thing keeping people who are over 25 interested in Nintendo is nostalgia and having kids. He says he's 30 and he's not Nintendo's target audience, and he hasn't been for a long time, which I mostly agree with. So I just wanted to get that out to the internet.
And sadly, I'm kind of in the same boat. And at this point, there's enough games that are not Nintendo based that will keep little kids' attention, like Disney Infinity, which I keep buying figures even though
Just keeps getting better,
Peter,
man.
do you have any non-Nintendo IPs for Wii?
For Wii, let's see, what else do we have?
Like, there's occasionally Batman or Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. Have you ever bought any of those for a Nintendo console?
For Nintendo console, let's see what. I don't think we've really bought a whole lot for the Wii U, except for just the
Or just the
Nintendo
regular
IP,
Wii?
but-
I just mean in general, in the past 6 years.
Not a whole lot. I mean, there was a few things on the Wii that were not Nintendo that were all right, but yeah, for the most part, it was like,
If it came
Mario,
out on another
Zelda.
console, I would have bought it on the other console. Like, if I had the option to get a game on Wii or 360, I would have bought it on 360.
damn, you guys are traitors. You can't even stick
Nah,
to your own.
I mean, I
Just
love
kidding.
Nintendo.
I think a lot of people would feel that way.
yeah. Well, I think a lot of things, if they weren't built for the motion controls felt kind of wonky for a lot of things. So I think if it was something that was built with multiple consoles in mind, I probably would have got it on another console, unless there was like, Because it's not going to be built for the Nintendo motion controls and then ported to something else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's certainly not going to look good. So,
Right.
Ouch.
So
Yeah, I mean, like
Ooh.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the Wii U. I think that was the Wii U.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, they had to dumb it down way.
Yeah, I can't imagine why I would have bought that when I have, current gen consoles I could buy it on. But whatever.
The Wii U is current gen.
Current gen with better consoles. I mean, Tom's right. I forgot the Wii U was the first of current gen. I always lump it in with last gen.
Yeah,
Just
but
because
I
it came
mean,
out so far ahead.
Came out so far ahead, and the graphics.
It was revolutionary.
it's
It's like
not
the
even that.
Dreamcast.
Like if you talk to Nintendo, they'll tell you their philosophy is doing more with less. You know what I mean? It's always talking. They're always talking about more about software driven than.
You're getting this all cuddly
and
again.
they
You're making me
consider
want to hug
themselves-
Nintendo again.
They
and I'm
consider
trying to be
themselves a
angry
toy
at
company,
Nintendo.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what we think as gamers. They think of themselves as a toy company.
Yep. And I'm sure they're just loving it.
They're still rolling around in their millions of dollars.
They're
Yeah.
like, ha ha! In the big pile of money.
Good
like
luck finding the
Scrooge
Martha
McDuck.
Amiibo.
They just Scrooge McDucked us and fucking dove into a bank of money.
Okay, so now we go 9-8.
Yeah, we're gonna go now.
I got one more question for Pete.
all right.
Pete, do you know Jake Mule or Muley?
Yeah.
You do. How's he doing these days? Is he still at school or did he graduate?
No, he graduated. He's working at Avalanche, I believe.
Really?
All right, we can continue this off the air.
All right.
That way we don't out this poor guy that works at this game. Well, let's out him anyway. Go find him. Hold on, let me see if there's a way to do this. I think I hit this button,